My name is Glenn, and I've been, as I said, involved with NeuroDynamic Breathwork since its inception, which was 7.5 years ago. Um, Over the next hour or so, I want to give you a chance to really understand what this is all about and have a chance to answer any questions you might have. Um, so just a little bit about me first. I have a master's degree in psychology with a focus on transformational education. Um, I played a big role in helping to design this training originally, and um, I think Michael and I are both really, really proud of what we've created here. We're currently going to be interviewing for our 11th cohort, and yeah, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So I started doing breath work myself on a farm outside of Chicago in 1991. And that was a holotropic breathwork workshop. And I just remember walking into that breathwork. I was driving through the cornfields and I was driving down this dirt road and I found this clearing in between these tall corn stalks. And there was these two temporary buildings, and there was a parking area. And there was one spot open in between this brand new Mercedes and this old beater Volkswagen Bug, the old versions. And I parked between those. I just remember thinking, what am I getting myself into? Who are these people going to be? And I walked into this session and we spent 12 hours together. And not once when I get in there did think to myself anything about those cars. It was like we came together in this way where like all the outside stuff didn't matter. We just kind of came together for 12 hours to be committed to our healing, to our inner journey, and kind of connected what I might just say is at a soul level. So, yeah, it was an amazing experience. And it took me about 3 sessions before I really seriously dropped in. But I just was blown away, but not only by the experience, but by the people that were doing it. Um, so, um, yeah, and then eventually I had the privilege of meeting Dr. Stanislav Grof, who's the founder of holotropic breathwork. Um, 3 months later, he came to Chicago, and I never looked back. I just knew immediately that this was going to be part of my deepest inner work, and that one day I wanted to offer this to other people. So it took me like 12 years to actually sign up and go through this extensive breathwork training with Dr. Stan Grof. But I completed that in 2001, and I started leading workshops in Seattle in 2002. I soon after that I co-founded a nonprofit which offered breathwork to the Pacific Northwest in the United States, as well as education on breathwork. And as I said, I met Michael in 2005, and I've been with him since the inception. And I mean, the reason I'm really here today is because breathwork has been one of the most powerful parts of my own practice of self-development, of self-awareness, of growth, of letting go of old parts of me that just don't serve me anymore. And as I release these old places and things, it opens up space for new things to come in. It's like it frees up vital energy. That's kind of the best way I could put it in words is breathwork. In this type of breathwork, we invite whatever wants to emerge from our inner process and give it permission to express. And instead of instead of being afraid of it, this type of breathwork, we invite it. It's like we lean into it. Breathwork teaches us to lean into what we're feeling and just think of it as an energy. Just let that energy up and let it out. And when we start to learn to do that, that clears these places where we've been stuck, and our vital energy frees up, and it opens up room for many more new things that feel more aligned with our what I would just say is our more authentic self. So for me, it's been such an amazing part of that journey, and it's certainly not the only thing that I would say that's not like the panacea for everything, but it's an amazing tool to have both to use for your own personal work, but also to support others in really moving through their inner journeys. Um, so um, I'm going to share you a little bit about what makes the training unique here. But I also want to just briefly say, for those of you who may or may not know this, but the core principle that drives everything that we do in neurodynamic breathwork. And by the way, while I was talking about holotropic breathwork earlier, just want to be really clear and distinguish that I'm talking about neurodynamic breathwork now. And we come out of that lineage. So I have all of our all of our facilitators actually originally were trained in that. But neurodynamic breathwork is its own unique approach. And it's, there's, so from here on out, I'm talking about neurodynamic. But the core principles that drive neurodynamic breathwork are two really simple ideas, but I think they probably go a lot deeper. For me, they've been lifelong journeys, and that's, in a nutshell, learning how to trust that you have a deeper intuitive wisdom inside of you that doesn't come from your left brain analytical thinking mind. We use the breath and the music in neurodynamic breathwork to help you get out of that head and learn to attune to what's really happening in your system. And the analogy that I absolutely love to describe what this work is about is if you cut your finger, you don't have to think in your head to get the white blood cells to move down your arm to heal that cut. There's this profoundly miraculous, whenever I think about it, it blows me away. We have this intelligent system in us that's automatically moving us to heal. We don't even have to think about it. Well, the same principle works in this neurodynamic breathwork and this approach to breathwork. You don't have to figure it out. It's all about unfiguring out and letting your body speak, letting the inner guidance emerge. And so the first core principle is trust. Are you willing to trust that you have this deeper inner wisdom? So like as a neurodynamic facilitator, we're not here to fix people or to tell them what they need. We're here to create safe spaces and safe containers to help, for them to help tune into their own inner guidance. And then the second core principle, besides trust, are you willing to trust, is surrender. This work is based on a really deep belief about just, if you're willing to trust, are you willing to surrender? Are you willing to receive and accept and be receptive to whatever wants to come up? A lot of us sometimes, of course, we prefer happy things and joyful things. And this breathwork will definitely help you connect to those deeper places of joy and inspiration and vision and breakthroughs and laughter and beautiful things. But part of that is it's because we embrace the darker, the more challenging side, the suppressed grief or old grief that has been lingering, or that was never fully processed, suppressed anger, our fears. And so by allowing those fears to come up and just surrendering to them rather than being afraid of them and getting in a head game about it, which is where it actually causes it to really take on more of a life of its own. In neurodynamic breathwork, you learn to just let the energy move, surrender to it. I love to call breathwork surrender gym. It's like you come to practice going to the gym to build your muscles of letting go and trust and surrender. So that's what drives this work. Now, as far as our training program, so of course it's going to be a deep dive into the concepts of trust and surrender. But the things that really make there's been such a proliferation of little small breathwork companies that suddenly since COVID, really, I've been watching this for 34 years now, and back in the 90s, all we ever would talk about is, man, we need to get Dr. Stan Grof on Oprah Winfrey. The world needs to know more about this breathwork thing. But then Wim Hof came along in the 10, 12, 14 years ago, and there was a bestseller book on the New York Times that was published called How to Change Your Mind that talked about this type of breath work. And then when COVID hit, it's just been there's this proliferation of other training programs. And like I've seen training programs where they offer to teach you how to be a breathwork facilitator in 2 weekend retreats. And I just have to shake my head at that. Um, I really believe in the training that we're offering. It's one of the most comprehensive, multidimensional trainings you're going to find in the market today in the online training world. Um, we hear this. We currently now have 280 graduates from 43 different countries. That alone is mind blowing. You know, I am I still have this sense of wonder, and I hope I never lose it, of the miracle that we can come together from all around the world and share in a deep and intimate healing learning journey. Um, and I hear all the time from, we've had many, many therapists, lots of psychologists, some doctors, many coaches. What I hear over and over again at the end of the training is, wow, that was I can't believe how comprehensive your training was. You taught me everything I needed to know to learn how to be a great facilitator. And you taught me things I didn't even have any idea I needed to know to be a great facilitator. I mean, one of the things I think helps us stand out is, my background and experience combined with Michael's, um, and our third trainer, Ann Arthur. It's a powerful set of experiences, and we're not, but this work is not about us telling you how to fix things. This work is about us sharing how we've learned to support others to find their own truth over these years. And all the things we've learned, we're going to convey to you through this training. So the other thing I think that another thing that I think really makes it unique is that we're rooted in science. What I always loved about Dr. Stan Groff is that he's a psychiatrist. Everything that he's done in the 28 books he's written is based on his clinical observations. So there's a deep rootedness in that. And, Michael, his original background, he was a scientist. And so I've always enjoyed that part of it. Like, we really look at current new studies that are coming out, and there's not a ton in the breathwork field. But every year, Michael updates. We have one of the modules in the training is on the science of breathwork, and he updates it as new things come out. I'm really excited. We actually have two psychologists in Norway who work at a university, and they're actually working on a study with a neuroscientist there about neurodynamic breathwork and how it affects us on the neuroscience level. So we're excited to find the results when that eventually comes out. Um, so the other thing that I think really stands out about our training is you learn to be a great facilitator through doing. First, through doing your own process. In many ways, one of the greatest gifts you have to offer your future breathwork participants is your own breathwork experiences and your own breathwork journey, and all of the healing and all the journeys that you've done prior to that have the wisdom you've obtained, and so it's almost like the breathwork, the training program. I've heard a few people of our graduates say this, and I think it's a really good example. The training program is almost like a breathwork session. We come in and we practice trust and surrender for 6, 7 months together. And when you bring 40 people together, and that's how many people we take every training, and every single one we fill is always filled. And by the way, we only do one at a time. There's other programs out there that are just trying to stack up as many people as they can and churn them through their trainings. We only ever do one at a time so we can focus fully on our group of trainees. And so you go in and we practice this work together. It's like you're going on a breathwork journey, and we're there to support you to go through your own process. And that's what really makes you understand how to support others. So and also we have a pretty solid set of practicum experiences. At the midpoint of the training, you'll start to do practicums with online breathwork. By the way, we're teaching you two different things in this work. Um, how to do any size online breathwork and any one-on-one in-person sessions. So you do practicums where you do 12 practice sessions of the online breathwork, And then you do at the end of the training, like the kind of the final component is we teach you the in-person, and you do 3 practice sessions with where you bring in 3 people to come and join you to try it out. Um, so it's really strong emphasis on learning by doing. And part of that, I can't ask you to come in and do a 6-month breathwork session, so to speak, if we're not focused also on just the whole journey of personal development. I just don't know of another training that has such a support structure to support you on this journey. 1/3 of the training is on personal development, and well, like officially in terms of, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the logistics in a little while here. But Ann Arthur, they're oh so John, they're not in person. We teach you how to do one-on-one in-person train sessions. Philippe, there's no breathwork session here. This is a forum about our training program, but Michael will be doing his Sunday session at a normal time today at 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat box and get back to you guys as things come in. The presentation screen is scrolled too far left. Is anybody else having that issue? I don't know what's going on. It's right in the center for me. It sounds like others of you are doing okay. So I'm sorry. It must be something local, Serene. Sorry, I can't help you there. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we have an amazing personal development coordinator, and you spend 5 sessions with her, and she brings a lot of beautiful tricks and tools to support your own journey. Um, and I think before I go further with this, let me share a video. I want to share a few videos along the way of some of our graduates. I'm going to kind of split these up a little bit. So I'm going to share a video of one of our training graduates, and then we'll continue forward here. So, new share. This is Nanette. Here, I need to do one thing. All right, here you go.
Hi, my name is Nanette, and I'm from Colorado. The Facilitator program is so much more than a breathwork facilitation training. This is the time for personal growth, stretching yourself in order to learn to hold space from the heart so that you can fully support another person. To really be able to hold that sacred space, we really need to address our own stuff. And that means that the emotional, psychological, and spiritual aspects of self really needs to be stripped down and healed. We have Saimi, who is just this phenomenal teacher, and she does this and helps you through this process with a tremendous amount of love and support. The facilitation portion of learning of how to prepare and run both the in-person and online sessions was as complete as it could be. You learn how to mix music, you learn how to appropriately use the music, and really be prepared so that your clients can really get the full experience. Michael and Glenn will guide you through this process with just a lot of professional expertise. The whole program is a lot of work, but the outcome is beyond words. This is a sacred space to grow in, and the love and support that's in this space is more than ever could be imagined. And you end up developing this really, really beautiful, beautiful sense of community. This is definitely a wonderful program, and if you're called to be a part of it, I really encourage you to do so.
Okay, so go back to our slides here. So that's a little one graduate's experience. I'll play you a few more before we're done. Um, so Nanette briefly touched on this idea that the community of people We've been utterly blown away at how deep the connections are made among the trainees of this that go through this training. Um, we've had 10 trainings so far. Every one of them has developed their own WhatsApp group. Every one of them, I talk to them on a regular basis through our alumni group. They're still in contact with their fellow trainees. Um, and when you do this type of deep inner journey with 40 people from all over the world that all are kind of there committed to their own healing, their own transformation, while you're studying deep transformation through the training program, it just creates one of the deeper containers you may ever experience for your own inner healing and your inner journey. And the connections you make through that are just powerful. So that's one of the beautiful components of this training. The people you'll meet and where they'll go, the connections you'll make that you'll continue to have. And then once you're done, there's also our alumni community of 280 amazing souls from all over 43 countries of just, it's almost like the Breathwork family where as you start to get to know them, you have connections all over the world. There's just a couple more things here, but the thing about this training too is it meets you exactly where you are. I've mentioned we've had professionals come through it, and we are prepared to support professionals of all levels, including doctors and psychologists and therapists and others of that in those fields. But we also 25% of the people that take this take it for personal development reasons. Like you don't have to be um, clear that you want to be a facilitator. We've set it up so that it really meets you wherever you are. And you can take this journey of deep inner self-discovery from whatever point you are. In a way, it's like our premium breathwork program. Like it's like the regular breathwork subscriber program on steroids in certain ways when you do this deep dive in a closed group. So wherever you are, it'll meet you. It's designed to work for all levels. And then lastly, the music. Our music, I don't know if hopefully you've all had a chance to try a session with us. If you haven't, I highly encourage you to do so. Your first session is always free. You can just go to our homepage and just click on the try a free session button and pick out which one you'd like to attend. And just to experience the powerful music that we use. And when you go through this training, you'll learn the ins and outs of the music sets, how to put them together, the 9 different stages of it. And then you'll have an opportunity to put your own set together. It's really fun. We actually put together a set as a class together in one of the sessions where everybody turns in their 3 favorite breathwork songs. We listen to them all together as a class, and we decide where would that go in the set process. And then ultimately, everybody votes on those songs, and then we will put together a breathwork set that's unique to your class that you guys can breathe to towards at the end of the training. So the music is an amazing part of it, and some people are really excited about that. Others, not maybe as much. But if you're really excited about it, we actually have bonus materials to teach you how to mix your own breathwork sets using mixing software, and it's far easier than you imagine. So that's even an option. We have those materials available. Couple more things. We also, we go through if after going through this whole journey with you, we don't abandon our alumni. We have an alumni group that is pro bono. We don't charge for it. And Michael and I just kind of voluntarily do this. At once a month, I'll show up, and the next month he'll show up, and we just have this group where any alum can come in and just check in. And as you start your breathwork journey, you can come back and ask questions and meet other alumni from all over the world. And that's a beautiful bonus of the training that I think is very unique to our training program. We also have a deep focus on this beautiful, brand new, not brand new in terms of years, but new in terms of historically a model of ethics. We have a guest speaker named Kelly Taylor, and she's one of the most sought after speakers in the psychedelic training fields nowadays because there's just not enough emphasis being put on the importance of having and bringing an ethical awareness to your breathwork work. And we actually read her book about inner ethics. And as we read through that, it's an amazing model that she just realized back in the 90s that people doing that for this type of breath work, the standard old school ethics that you apply to therapy just doesn't work when you're in breath work. When people are lying on a pad, in a dimly lit room with loud music playing, and you're lying next to them, and there might be physical touch. So that you have to have she developed a whole new perspective, and it's all based on compassion, and it's a beautiful model. And as you go through this book, I won't go into all the details now, but you'll end up doing an inventory in the 7 areas of your life. Where are your needs being fully met? And where are they not being met? And is in the places where your needs aren't being met are the places where you're more likely to have an ethical misstep. So by being aware of those, you can be proactive about choosing healthy pathways in to keep the healthy boundaries. It's an amazing model, and people love when she comes to visit our class at the end of this later in the training. And if you don't know this already, part of our mission is to support world healing. I'm a really deep believer, and we all are in this training, our whole team, that um, individual healing is inseparable from world healing. Um, you can't separate. As you heal yourself, you are contributing to global healing. Peace begins within, and so our mission is to get this work out to as many people as we can. Um, so I'm going to play another video. Actually, I already played Nanette's, but I've got another video from a graduate I'm going to share with you.
Hey.
And one more time. Switch over to the video. This is Jillian.
Hey everyone, my name is Jillian, and I just completed the 6-month facilitator training course, and I could not recommend it enough. It was absolutely life-changing for me. I came to this program just, in hopes of starting a new career path and getting new skills, and and I got so much more. Going into the program, I was absolutely terrified of the thought of making a video of myself and putting it out there to the world. And here I am, just 6 months later, and I'm doing it, and it feels good. And I have this newfound confidence that I can totally attribute to doing this program. And it helped me stretch and grow way beyond what I thought was even capable. I went on this remarkable journey of self-discovery and uncovered so many beliefs that were no longer serving me that I wasn't even aware of. And I had a chance to rewrite them and to come here now and today with not only a new skill to share to the world and to be of service in a real way. I learned how to be a friend to myself and to nurture that inner child within me. So, if you're thinking about it, if you're not sure if it's really the right fit for you, I can just assure you that no matter what skill level you're at, how much you're already into your path of healing and of service to the world in this way, that this program has something to offer you. It goes deep. It's not one of those superficial programs that just kind of, grazes things over, and it really gets you thinking. I can't be more grateful for being a part of this. And then all the new community that I got. I have this beautiful global community now that, we're friends for life, and we're there for each other. And even though this program has completed, we're still in touch and finding new ways to support each other. And it's incredible. And that alone is just, a huge gift. So, I wish you the best of luck in your journey. And I hope that, yeah, you find the right fit for you.
Much of this I've already shared. Apologies. Thanks for sticking around. Um, but I think the parts I didn't say where we have a couple beautiful guest speakers. One of them you may have already met. Her name is Heidi, and she's one part of our community. She's an expressive arts therapist, and she comes in during the three of the classes and spends 60 to 90 minutes with us. And she gives you tips on utilizing the expressive arts to support breathwork integration. Um, and so, and she's just a wealth of information on expressive arts and how you can use it to take your breathwork session deeper. And so she's very accessible. If any of you are interested in this, it's a wonderful new other thing that we incorporate through the training. Um, and as I mentioned, we have this we have this focus on the inner ethics, the science of breath work. We teach you how to do one-on-one in-person sessions and any size online. And then I was just mentioning that another guest speaker is Dr. Brack Jeffries. This is another amazing class. Our 11th class, we have him come and join us. And he's a psychologist who's been working with people in spiritual emergency for over 40 years. And if you don't know what spiritual emergency is, it's sometimes people in their lives will reach a point where their view of the world or their worldview and their identity comes crashing down, where they suddenly things that they thought made sense no longer make sense, or they get impacted by a trauma or just some life change that rocks things. And the thing that makes a spiritual emergency is sometimes it comes up to such a degree that it becomes difficult for that person to function in their daily life. Now, why is this relevant for breathwork? It's because people in spiritual emergency, breathwork is an amazing tool to support them to go through what's going on and to help them find their new identity or whatever it is that they're needing to find. But the challenge is people in spiritual emergency, the symptoms can look a lot like mental illness and mental health. There's a fine line sometimes between what is mental health, what is mental illness. And so Dr. Brett Jeffries comes to one of our classes and we have this beautiful deep dive into exploring what is mental health, what is mental illness, where's the fine line, and how do we support people that are having these powerful experiences, but they're ungrounded and they don't know what to do with them. So that's another lovely component of training. As I mentioned, a third of the training is specifically focused on personal development, and we have another third full trainer, Ann Arthur, who's just brings a wealth of information and experiences. She has a background, 20 years as a hypnotherapist, 20 years or 30 years in the Enneagram. She's certified in holotropic breathwork. That background, she's a family constellations certified. She's certified in soul collage and spiral dynamics. And she just brings this wealth of information and she puts it together in just such a beautiful way. And you meet with her these 5 sessions, and that track is almost like it's a container for your breathwork journey through the program, where she teaches you tips and skills and techniques to work with your own process, to take it deeper and to really expand the actual breathwork journey. So that's just another beautiful component of the training. And I mean, honestly, I could go on and on here. Let me take a break here and just check out what's in the chat and see what I'm sure a lot of these are about my volume. I put the name of the book in there. Helena asked, what if music isn't your thing? Some people live and breathe it, but what if you don't? It's not a problem. I mean, you will have one class where you need to sit through it, but we've set it up so that the more interested you are in it, the more you can go deeper. But if you're not that interested in it, there's a very basic assignment of just sort of identifying the 9 different stages of the music set. So you don't have to do much if you're not that into it. But for those that are, you can take it much deeper. Yeah, lots of can't hears. Let's see. Jeffrey asked, I have worked with under-resourced populations, prisons, addiction groups, and homeless. Is it okay to offer for free to some groups? Absolutely. I mean, I've done many pro bono sessions over the years. I mean, the important thing is just some of them might not be able to do the full process, depending upon, there are contraindications that have to do with medical issues and psychiatric issues. And so you just need to go through and make sure that if anybody has any of those issues, alternatively, they can do what we just call a musical journey, where they don't do the breathing part and they just close their eyes and just gently breathe to the music. And that alone is very powerful. So yes, you can absolutely adapt it to work. I'm not homeless. Now that's a little trickier because, I know a lot of homeless people have mental health issues and are mentally ill in terms of our current mainstream psychiatric definitions. And you wouldn't want to be doing it with people. You kind of need some degree of groundedness to do this, because this breathwork can be a little bit ungrounding for periods of time when you're going through it. But yeah, and if you want to ask more about that, Jeffrey, I'll take questions a little bit later. Yeah, apologies on the sound here. Okay, yeah, so I reviewed those slides, and let's see here. So just a few voices. These are some of the feedback we've gotten from alumni. The training was more comprehensive than I imagined. I didn't know how much I needed this until I was in it. I'm not the same person I was when I started. Now, you'd be amazed how many of our graduates tell us this. In the last training, when we did a final closing circle, over half of our graduates pretty much said this. Like, I don't even know who I was 6 months ago. I'm a skeptic. I honestly wouldn't believe these things if I were coming to a site or hearing somebody talk about it. The thing is, I know all these people. I've seen their process. They're people that you'll actually meet in the alumni group. So it really is an amazing inner journey. If you bring your open heart to the process, it's going to transform you in some way. So I'm going to share one more video here about some of the ways it's impacted some of our graduates.
It was the...
Let's see here. We should split the share over. Here we go. Start from the beginning.
It was the best investment of my life.
For me personally, the program was absolutely life-changing.
It is probably equally the most intense and in-depth personal development, spiritual development program I've been on, and also the most enjoyable and the most eye-opening.
It was one of the most life-changing course that I ever took in my life.
If you are considering starting this, if you're considering enrolling in this program, that means there's something in you that's telling you that this work is for you. And I just say do it, because you will not regret it.
Okay, and I'm going to share one last video, and then we'll open it up here. New share. This is another one of our graduates, Tim, with just a few words about his experience.
Hi, my name is Tim Wright. I just finished the NeuroDynamic Breathwork.
Hold on, let me turn it up. Let me start over.
Hi, my name is Tim Wright. I just finished the NeuroDynamic Breathwork facilitation course, and I wanted to make this short video to help you get a better understanding of what this program is all about and what you can get out of it. I have to tell you that for me personally, the program was absolutely life-changing. It was one of the best courses I've ever taken in my life, not only for the things I've learned, but for the person I became through going through the process. The course covers everything you need to know to become a breathwork facilitator. It covers all the technical stuff, how to set up a breathwork session, how to do the intro talk and explain how everything works, how to do the legal forms and the waivers, how to set up a business, all the ethical considerations, all of the things that you would normally expect to learn in a course on facilitation. You will learn that. You'll be extremely empowered and equipped to become a good facilitator. But that's only part of the story. The main thing about this course is the personal growth that you'll experience. You literally become a different person. You learn that in order that the best way you can help heal somebody else is to heal yourself, to work on yourself. And the program really emphasizes that. And you learn more about yourself, your human psyche, why you're doing the things that you're doing, and how to stop doing those things that are harmful, and how to learn. I feel like I've grown in my capacity to be fully present with other people and to open my heart and to really allow love and light to shine through me and to hold space for people so that they can heal. I have to tell you that one of the most amazing things about this course are the people that come here. There's something about breath work that attracts people that are vibrating on a higher vibrational level. And I fell in love with my classmates. They are absolutely some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. And I've made friends with people literally from all over the world that I consider deep, deep friends as a result of going through this program together. And I feel like what we're doing in breathwork and in the class I took is that we are working together to heal world consciousness, to raise the level of consciousness in our entire planet. And I feel like it's part of a larger movement. And if you're thinking about taking this course, I would say only if you want to have your life changed forever, because you will be changed. You will get everything that you need to become a great breathwork, neurodynamic breathwork facilitator, but you'll get much, much more out of the course. So I encourage you to ask questions, talk with Glenn, talk with Michael, ask questions, get your questions answered. And when you're ready to change your life and you're ready to change the world, then go ahead and sign up. And I look forward to meeting you someday in the alumni group. So, namaste.
All right. Well, so I think that gives you a pretty good sampling of some of our graduates, and and I'm delighted that we'll actually have a graduate joining us live here momentarily. But just to sort of kind of wrap up what I wanted to share with you, then we're going to open it up to talk to Roz and open up the floor to any questions you might have. So we do this training, just some of the logistics. We run this training twice a year, every 6 months it starts, and always in March and September. The approximate cost is around 6,000. That's the regular price, but honestly, most people don't pay that. We have an $800 early registration discount that still is going. And with an additional discount, it can get down to as low as it's actually 4,900 for the whole training. We have payment plans that can go down to as low as 460 a month, and have a worldwide recognized certification. What can I say? We take 40 people every training, and we don't take everybody. That's one of the things that makes the group so beautiful. We really want to find people that really feel like this is the right training for them, and it feels like they're a good fit for what we're doing. And when you bring those 40 people together, that's what they already have that much in common. It's really powerful. So I think I've already talked about all this. You'll come out of this program with some beautiful moving forward in your professional development. Your personal growth is outstanding, and you will come out with pretty solid mastery of facilitation. Of course, it's always a journey. We're always still learning, but you'll be ready to lead your own sessions. And then just once a year, we do a survey of our subscribers, and obviously this isn't a double blind or anything like that, but these are self-reported from all of our subscribers. 89% of people that have reported having anxiety report relief. 84% that have dealt with trauma report relief. 75% better access to their inner wisdom. Depression, 70% relief. Most people report improved relationships, purpose in life. So if you feel called, apply now. I can pull up the link to get to but there's on the homepage there's a button that says apply now, and it'll take you there, but I can certainly put that in the chat box here in just a moment. It'll meet you wherever you are, at whatever level you are, whether you're a psychologist who already works with people at a high level, or whether you are coming into this pretty new. The most important thing is that you feel called to do this, and you feel like, and you're ready to open your heart to an inner journey for 6 months that will deepen your own life and support in the ways that you can support others. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that little video. Our trainees are from all age groups. We have trainees that usually a few that are even in their 20s, but going all the way up to as old as you might imagine. I think, and as I said, it's a wide range of people. We have some people that just take the training for personal development reasons. Because it's designed to sort of meet you where you are. And I'm looking for I'm sorry I'm having so many technical issues here, you guys. I'm on Zoom all the time, but for some reason I'm having an issue. I want to get back to the slides. Apologies here. Where did Zoom go? Okay, here we go. All right. So the foundation of this program, as I said, is experiential. You learn by doing. There's that balance of the personal growth and the self-awareness development and the facilitation skills. And another core piece of this, which I just want to say a few words about for those of you who may not have tried our breathwork before, it comes out of this non-directive lineage from the holotropic Sandgroff model. And all of the lead facilitators have been certified originally in holotropic breathwork. We are not holotropic breathwork, just to be very clear. NeuroDynamic breathwork is a different style, but it's rooted in the principles that came out of the Groff lineage. And so trust is the core pedagogical foundation. This work is based on this profound trust that each of us have the answers within us already. We're not here to figure, we don't need to figure things out. It's all about getting out of your left brain, getting out of your head, and kind of letting go of all the stories and things that we think we believe, that in realizing the body has incredible wisdom. There's this very somatic component to this type of breath work, learning to listen to the body, learning to trust it. And in that, much the same way that, if this is my favorite analogy, if you cut your finger, you don't have to figure out in your head how to get the white blood cells to go heal the cut. There's an instinctual way that there's a system that's intelligent below conscious awareness that will heal that cut. Well, the same principle applies in this type of breath work. It's non-directional. If you get out of your head, your whole system will move towards its own homeostasis, equilibrium, balance. But you have to learn to let go and trust that wisdom is in there. So it's based on trust. And the second core principle of this work is surrender. And one of my pet names for this type of breath work is Surrender Gym. You're going to a gym to build your muscles of surrender, learning how to let go and drop into it's very similar to the flow state, learning to get out of your head and just get into that receptive. There's a very yin receptive quality, learning to receive whatever your inner guidance, whatever your body is needing in that moment, your emotional self, your chi, your energy flow. So the curriculum itself, as I said, will give you, people tell us all the time that, they really are amazed at how much information and how much we're able to teach them in an online training. Hey, by the way, for those of you that are arriving late, we are going to do an introductory breathwork, a reset breathwork session in the last half hour of the presentation. So that's coming up. So we will cover everything you need, and as well as there's 1/3 of the training, you'll meet with our third trainer, Dr. Gwen Williams, and she's an amazing soul in her own right. She's been doing breathwork and trained with Stan Groff and holotropic back in the early 90s, as I did, and she's been involved in this work for many years. She's a college professor, just recently retired, and she just brings a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And her part of the program, it's like a container. You meet with Michael and I twice a month live, and you meet with Gwen once a month. So it's like an addendum. It's a second track that's meant to help you and support you on your inner journey through the process, and to give you new tools and tips and ideas on how you can, how to sort of work with your process. And ultimately, here's the cool thing: everything you learn from your own process becomes wisdom that you bring to your future breathwork participants, and all the things that you learn from being in this closed group of tight people that are doing the breathwork becomes part of your future breathwork teaching opportunity. So Michael and I, for our side of the track training, we give you the video lessons always 2 weeks ahead of the class. So you watch the videos, and then there's 3 books that we have readings from. So you'll read from the books, and then everybody has a study partner. So you actually have 3. Once every 2 months, you get a new partner. You meet with that partner every 2 weeks, and we provide questions related to that week's lessons that you discuss and meet and interact with your study partner. You also will do practicums at the midpoint of the training. You'll do 12 online sessions that 6 of them that you facilitate. And by the way, we will train you on all the details, how to work the other technology, how to prepare for, how to run, and how to support people after the fact in those sessions. And let's see, what was I going to say? So then in the final 6 weeks, we get into the in-person. And that's another benefit I didn't even mention in the benefits. We're training you for 2 things: online sessions of any size, and also in-person sessions. In the last 8 weeks, we get into the in-person, which is where the rubber really meets the road, where all these things you've been learning, where you're sitting in front of a person. You do 3 more practicums that you set up live with people that in your world or your community who would like to try breathwork with you. And so you'll do those practicums as well. Everybody gets assigned a coach. So you have a coach who you basically is your primary liaison. And our coaches are amazing. You probably, if you've been involved in our community at all, you've met some of them. Karen is one of our coaches. Fiona is one of our coaches. Um, and I do some of the coaching. So in the coach, you'll meet with 3 to 4 times officially during the training to support you and get, stay in contact. But they're also available to you throughout the training. So that's a little bit of the logistics. Topics we cover. There's a module on the science of breathwork that Michael updates every year. There's not a ton of research on breathwork yet, but there's a lot in work. There's more and more help coming out. There's much more research on psychedelics. So we're keeping a close eye on it. And Michael shares, and as things get updated, he shares that in the module on science of breathwork. And we cover Stan Grof's cartography of the psyche. This is it's one of my favorite things that came out of the Grof's work. Again, he observed people in first psychedelic sessions and then breathwork sessions for 60 years now. And he's been tracking every single thing that he's ever observed in those sessions. And he loosely has categorized it into 3 main categories of experience that he calls his cartography. And it's an amazing 125-page section of one of his books where he basically describes everything he's ever seen from the deep psyche. And we don't even use it all the time as facilitators, but it's incredibly helpful to know about it. And sometimes it's incredibly valuable to share with your breathers. One of the 3 categories is birth related. He deeply believes that the birth process leaves a much deeper pre-verbal body memory that's not cognitive, that is embedded deep in our subconscious, and that it can come out through breathwork. But, there was one of the older styles of breathwork that one of the few that was around in the 80s, back in the early days, was rebirthing breathwork, and that was what they mainly focused on at that time. So that cartography is amazing, and there's so much I'd love to share with you about it. But that's one of the modules we get into. As I mentioned earlier, we get into the inner ethics. That's one of the modules with Kylia Taylor. We have another guest speaker, Heidi, who probably maybe some of you met. She already leads once a month a drop-in seminar that's free for all of our subscribers on Saturday mornings once a month. And she's an expressive arts therapist, and she joins 3 of our classes and gives tips and ideas on how you can use the expressive arts to support people after the breathwork sessions. And she's got so much knowledge. She's learned so much, and she's such a generous soul. She's available to you for those that want to go deeper into that. We have another guest speaker, Dr. Brack Jeffries, and he was just there yesterday, so I'm coming fresh off this class. So he comes in one of the sessions, and we get into a deep dive into how do you differentiate mental health from mental illness? Where's the fine line? And Stan Grof came up with a concept called spiritual emergence and spiritual emergency. He and his wife at the time, Christina Grof. Much I could say here, but basically the idea is in every other culture outside of modern Western industrialized culture, there's been some form of ritualized, expanded state of consciousness work. Maybe it was dancing around a fire. Maybe it was drumming. Maybe it was psychedelic plant medicines, chanting, yoga, meditation. Every other culture has recognized that there's something important about getting out of our daily mindset and creating a ritual to go inside. And so the idea is over time, if we're open to that, there's this deep interconnection that we need to connect to over the course of life. And that's what spiritual emergence means. Over time, little by little, we get deeper and deeper into knowing more wisdom about our inner world and the world around us. But sometimes that inner process becomes overwhelming. It comes up so quick for some people on occasions. It could be from a traumatic incident. It could be from maybe somebody was just too attached to something and and in a way that made some bad decision. I don't know, but it can come up suddenly, and in those cases, sometimes people get to a point where they struggle to function in their life for a period of time in their life. Why is this important for breathwork facilitation? Well, people in spiritual emergency, that's what we call spiritual emergency. People in spiritual emergency can show symptoms that are really similar to to psychiatric issues. And if they were to go to a psychiatrist in that moment, the mainstream medical approach is we need to shut that down and give you medication. And that's a great approach. Don't get me wrong, for people that are, need that. There's a very strong biochemical. We're not arguing there, but sometimes what people need is to take the time to go inward. And breathwork is an incredible tool for people in spiritual emergency. So be able to differentiate what's spiritual emergency, what's mental health, and we have an amazing discussion about that is in one of the modules. And there's just so much more. I'm just kind of giving you a lot of some of the main things we get into. So some of the voices, this training was more comprehensive than I ever imagined. I didn't know how much I needed this until I was in it. I'm not the same person I was when we started. We hear that a lot in the 7-month process that you go through. No matter where you are, I think the thing that's wonderful is it meets you where you are. So, we have people that have been on a spiritual path for 60 years come into this training, 50 years, 40 years. And we have people that are newer to the journey, and it meets you where you are. And I mean, if you don't believe that there's more to learn always, probably we're not the right training for you. Like, it isn't just like I've said a number of times, it's a deep dive into the journey. And so another short video I want to share with you.
It was the best investment of my life.
For me personally, the program was absolutely life-changing.
It is probably equally the most intense and in-depth personal development, spiritual development program I've been on, and also the most enjoyable and the most eye-opening.
It was one of the most life-changing course that I ever took in my life.
If you are considering starting this, if you're considering enrolling in this program, that means there's something in you that's telling you that this work is for you. And I just say do it, because you will not regret it.
Hi everyone, my name is
Say one more.
Jillian, and I just completed the 6-month facilitator training course, and I could not recommend it enough. It was absolutely life-changing for me. I came to this program just, in hopes of starting a new career path and getting new skills, and and I got so much more. Going into the program, I was absolutely terrified of the thought of making a video of myself and putting it out there to the world. And here I am, just 6 months later, and I'm doing it, and it feels good. And I have this newfound confidence that I can totally attribute to doing this program. And it helped me stretch and grow way beyond what I thought was even capable. I went on this remarkable journey of self-discovery and uncovered so many beliefs that were no longer serving me that I wasn't even aware of. And I had a chance to rewrite them. And to come here now and today with not only a new skill to share to the world and to be of service in a real way. I learned how to be a friend to myself and to nurture that inner child within me. So if you're thinking about it, if you're not sure if it's really the right fit for you, I can just assure you that no matter what skill level you're at, how much you're already into your path of healing and of service to the world in this way, that this program has something to offer you. It goes deep. It's not one of those superficial programs that just kind of, grazes things over, and it really gets you thinking. And yeah, I can't be more grateful for being a part of this. And then all the new community that I got. I have this beautiful global community now that, we're friends for life and we're there for each other. And even though this program has completed, we're still in touch and finding new ways to support each other. And it's incredible. And that alone is just, yeah, a huge gift. So, yeah, I wish you the best of luck in your journey, and I hope that yeah, you find the right fit for you.
Okay, yeah, that's a beautiful testimonial from Jillian. Um, the thing that's crazy is all these people that you see in our videos from that have graduated, they're part of our alumni community now, and you'll meet them, if you go through the training. And so, anyways, I don't want to say too much more. I've been talking a lot here. I want to get to your questions, um, but just a few more logistics. The cohorts, we always start in March and September, so there's one coming up. The cost, you know, it seems like a lot at first, but what you get from this training, so many people have just said it's an incredible discount. I know. And I've been in places where this would seem like a lot of money to me, but if you have the capacity, the primary price is $6,000, but there's a couple discounts that are very much available, potentially to get the price down to 4,900. We do have payment plans. And I will also say this, that scholarships are possible. If I told you earlier that what's most important to us is to find people that really feel the calling to do this type of work, that to go through this training for personal development or for professional reasons, and or both. And if you really feel that calling, and we feel like you'd be a great fit, then we will try our best to work with you. So that's why I really encourage you to sign up for a free informational session, interview session and it's most of them are done by Michael or myself. Karen does a few of them, and where we can meet with you one-on-one in person, hear what you're looking for, and you can just answer any questions you might have. Um, so that includes about pricing and ultimately we will certify you for both online and in-person sessions. What are the outcomes? Facilitation mastery, your own professional development, and your own personal growth. Yeah, Fiona is wonderful, Kat. We love the people that work with us. You could if you're around the people, I just think we have the most amazing group of people, and that is a reflection of this training program. So here's some statistics that have come from our own surveys that we've done with people that are doing breath work. This type neurodynamic breath work, 89% report relief from anxiety from doing the breath work. 84%, it can really support trauma healing. I'm not saying it's easy, and as somebody who's been through a lot of that process, it's a journey. But this is a powerful modality that can really help you get below the surface, to beyond the talking, and really release these stuck and blocked energetic patterns inside of you. 75% in these surveys report better access to their inner wisdom, and 70% from depression relief. Other outcomes: improved relationships, clarity, and purpose. And I think I already shared the third video with you. So um, if you feel called, apply. Um, I can put the link to the application page in here in just a moment. Wherever you are in your journey, we'll meet you there. You'll grow. The world needs breathwork now. I mean, if that wasn't as obvious, I'm guessing we all feel that there's an urgency towards the healing journey, and I am a deep believer that peace begins within. We have to start with our own wounds and our own challenges. And ultimately, the deeper we go, the more we can become empowered to make actual real change in the outer world and have real dialogues that get to the places that we're going to need to get to move forward is in society and in the world in general. So it's an amazing journey, and you're working on your own healing, which, as I said, I deeply believe is inseparable from global healing. And right now, we do have spaces available for the next training that starts next month. So if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I'm going to put the link to the application. But my email is simply Glenn at, you know what? I'm having keyboard issues. Just one technical thing after another, but my keyboard is actually acting up. I have an on-screen keyboard. I'll just tell you what it is. Maybe that's easier. It's Glenn with two N's, GLENN at breathworkonline.com. So feel free to follow up with a question. And as far as scheduling the calls, that's the link I'm going to put in there right now. So if you go to this page, it tells you all about the training. There's a link to the training information page. And there's a lot of information on that page. But if you scroll down to near the bottom, there's a lot of great videos too, more videos. Near the bottom, there is an apply now button. I'll just give you the direct link for the application too. Oh, you have to do it from that page. I don't have a direct link, but there's an apply now down at the bottom. I know it's not very good information design, huh? I think we need to improve this. But if you can't find the apply now, drop me a line and I'll make sure you get it. There's a button that says start application, but unfortunately it comes in a pop-up, so I can't give you a direct link to it. Yeah, okay, perfect, Arian. Awesome. All right, well that's the end of this long-winded talk. I hope that was valuable or helpful for you, at least the whole goal here for us was to really give you a real tangible idea and understanding of what the training's all about. And let's see, I'm going to try to go through your questions in the chat box. If any of you feel called, well, we're going to start the breath work in about 15 minutes. So we've got 15 minutes to answer questions. If we're done with questions earlier, then we'll jump into the breath work sooner. So Maria asked, Glenn, you mentioned this program has deep roots in observational science, but also we will have Kalia Taylor in her ethics book based on the 7 chakras. How does that relate to neurodynamic breathwork, relate to pranayama? It's funny. I shared that because many people resonate with that, but ultimately, so the program, the breathwork itself is what I mainly was referring to. That's rooted in observational science. Now, Kalia Taylor's ethics model, that comes from her own observations for sure. But she was also aware of the 7 chakras and felt like that model was so valuable when she was thinking about the ethical process, just as a model. So she just calls them the 7 power centers. You can call it what you like, and ultimately you have to decide for yourself if you read the book. As I said, almost everybody thinks it's an amazing book, but the 7 power centers are the different areas of life that we all are working with, and it's a beautiful book. So you can call it chakras or not call it chakras, but I don't know for sure what her history was and how she brought that in. That's a really great question. I need to ask her that. Yeah, the classes, Jennifer, are the live classes are 3 Saturdays a month. We meet they start at Pacific time, 9 a.m., and they go for 4.5 hours. We take breaks. And so you have 3 Saturdays on and 1 Saturday off. And as I said, 2 of those are with Michael and I, one with Gwen Williams. And so we record all those, and you have access to the videos. You can miss up to 3 if you're worried about missing up to 3, but we really feel like it's important to be able to attend the Saturday classes to do this training. As far as the uninterrupted block, Jennifer, I, I think that would be a good thing to talk about in an online interview. If you feel called to do this, I think, it would be hard to do the entire training that way. But perhaps some of it you could do if that's the only thing blocking you. I think it'd be important to have a deeper conversation. So, Linda, what size groups can you facilitate after the training? Well, for the online sessions, you ultimately can learn to do any size. Now, the in-person sessions, yeah, that's a great question because there's another thing that I could share with you, which is that we are training you to do one-on-one individual in-person sessions, Linda. Um, so you will do that, and we would certify you in that. Now, twice a year, we have a second optional training where we go deeper into leading in-person groups of any size. And it's an online training to learn in-person groups. And I know that sounds a little ironic, but you do 2 more practicums where you actually lead small groups in your local community, and we dive deep into that process and how to work with those, how to support people. Again, there's 3 stages to a breathwork process: the preparation, the session, and the integration. And we get into how to support people at all 3 levels. And then you do those groups. And then if you complete that, we would also certify you for in-person groups. And it's not us trying to make extra money. Honestly, originally we wanted the way that I originally put this thing together, with Michael's input, was that we were going to have that part of the actual training, 6 months online, 1 week in person. But then we launched it in COVID, right when COVID hit. In the first 3 trainings, we couldn't do it. And a lot of people were like, we need this in-person group. So we translated it to an online structure. It was probably more than you needed, but hopefully that answered your question. How do you schedule okay, Darren, you got your question answered. Linda has almost completed a trauma-informed course. I love that. I would say that our breathwork is inherently trauma-informed, but we're bringing more and more of that we actually incorporate more and more of that. I'm actually going through an official training myself through an institute. Fiona does have an amazing, gentle voice. She's one of the coaches. You could request her if you love Fiona, get to know her better. Okay, doesn't look like, let's say anything more. The other 2 books, sure. The first one is the Kylea Taylor Inner Ethics, the most current version, which was like 5 or 8 years ago, not the 90s version. The other 2 books one is by Tav Sparks, and it's called The Power Within. I wish I could, but in the third one is by Matt Kahn. It is called All for Love: The Transformative Power of Holding Space. So those are the 3 books that we read. Matt Kahn, All for Love: The Transformative Power of Holding Space, and Tav Sparks, The Power Within, and Kylea Taylor, Inner Ethics. Well, you found it to be an important part of being a health coach. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I think everybody should be taking that. You're welcome, Maria. How does breathwork work with neurodivergency? Um, well, one of the topics we get into in depth in the training is who is this breathwork appropriate for, and how to screen people. And we've actually had some incredible neurodivergent people go through this training. A smaller handful, not a ton, but I think they have to be, if they're, depends on where they are in their journey. And I think this breathwork could be incredibly powerful but you just have to really have a deep dive and let them know what this work is all about, and ultimately that they decide for themselves. I think that's the core of that question. Hope that's helpful, Linda. Um, Anyone else? Jenny, after the training, are the music tracks provided to facilitators for our use? Excellent question, and we do a dive into that. It's a kind of a tricky question. The short answer is there are a couple of sets that we make available that are through a platform called Yogi Tunes. And the reason for this is in order to lead online sessions the way that we do in the United States, we have to license our music. And there are strict legal guidelines on what we can give and not give. And we can't just give music away like that. So it's different in every country, but we give you a wide variety of choices and options on how you can get more music once the training is over. We provide the music during the training for the online practicums. But afterwards, you'll create a set. I didn't mention that officially, but everybody will turn in a draft of a music set. And at the end, your coach will go through it with you, and you'll have like an approved set that you love, that you can take that and work with that potentially. Um, some people choose to learn how to mix music themselves, and we have bonus materials for that, as I mentioned. We also have a graduate who's an incredible musician and a DJ. He offers a very modestly priced service where he will mix sets for you. There's a lot of different things, and I don't want to take too much time on that, but it's a great question. Thanks for asking. If you have anything more specific, Jenny, feel free to drop it in the chat. Linda, I would definitely like to explore the potential to do this course. I want to add breathwork to what I do, partly incorporated and also standalone. Absolutely. This is an incredible modality to mix with other modalities. We have so many I mean, I think it's the thing that's beautiful about it is for coaches and therapists and hypnotherapists and I mean meditation instructors. We've also had psychologists and many therapists and a few doctors and then, of course, all the people that are coming to this for the first time and newer to this work. But for those of you that are already working with clients, I think it's so great to, like as a coach, for example, coaches to have the breath work, you can sort of attract people to your coaching business who are drawn to the breath work, and you can when you're working with people in coaching, you can adapt. You can bring in breath work to support the coaching process. And it's just such a beautiful marriage. And the same for therapy. We have many, many therapists who are just using it one-on-one with their clients. Some of them are doing groups. Many are offering like a once a month online session for all their clients. We also teach you how to do the short sessions that we're about to get into and experience today too. So you'll learn all of the how to put the longer sets, but also the short ones that are great for shorter sessions and marketing and all that. Yes, it will, Jennifer. We're gonna have to do a little finagling. I forgot to place the record, but the second half will be available, and I have one that I did last spring. We'll figure it out, but it'll be available. Michael also did one that should be available online somewhere too, about a month ago. And Linda, yes, stress is so important. Calming down. Yeah, exactly. Self-regulation. That's such a big thing. And I'm writing a few books. One of them is on my experiences in breathwork and these 5 years of observing the field and 24 years of facilitating. And one of the things that I really deeply have come to believe is that the breathwork journey itself, if you take one of our regular sessions, a 60-minute session, it's a journey into it takes you on this journey. Like the first third of the music is high energy, tribal, that helps you get into this trance, self-hypnosis state. Then the middle third is kind of more high intensity and journey music, we call it. It brings you into like movie soundtracks, a lot of emotion, and it takes you into these deep places. And then the final third becomes much more gentle heart music and ends with very gentle meditation music. the very process itself of going through that musical journey puts you through the journey of kind of going through your own. You learn that you can go through these deeper, intense things, but then always come back to your self-regulated state at the end. I mean, that's one of the things I see in my observations of 8 years of doing this work now online with you guys. People that are healing from complex trauma that do this on a regular basis, they really learn and build the neural pathways in their brain for self-regulation. Well, thank you, Darian. Appreciate that. It's great to see you today, by the way. Um, Great to see all of you. Some of you whom I know, and others, many of you new. Uh, Maria, can you send us a link for the free Saturday session with Heidi? Okay, so that's for subscribers. Are you, if you have to be one of our monthly subscribers to attend that. Maybe she does some that are open to the public, and if she doesn't, I think that would be a great idea. Actually, we love to just give people a taste. So, I don't know, Maria, if you're a subscriber, you could email our admin department, admin@breathworkonline.com. If not, I'm going to have to bring that idea that maybe she could every few months do one that's open to the public. But it's a beautiful addition to support people, to support you on your healing journey. Linda, I have attended a course in dance medicine. The music flow is very similar. Yeah, and also maybe some of you met Karen and one of our other coaches in the training. She was also a facilitator, and she leads something called embodied movement. And if you're lucky, you'll catch she does a session of embodied movement sometimes before one of our breathwork sessions. We do all kinds of stuff. For subscribers, we have an amazing yoga instructor who comes in once a month on a Sunday, so you can do yoga before breathwork. We don't do them all before every session, but we try to bring in additional things when possible. You're welcome, Maria. Well, I think it sounds like we're good with questions. So why don't we get into this breathwork? I am going to stop the recording now.